Woodward yesterday was speaking with Paul Feinbaum, and a couple of topics came up, including what he's looking for when hiring these new coaches. And Woodward, who was talking to Feinbaum at the SEC spring meetings that wrap up today, both Texas and Oklahoma over there, ADs were present in Destin yesterday, and Oklahoma and Texas will officially become partners of the Southeastern Conference on July 1st. So we are just about a month away. We're about 33 days away from Texas and Oklahoma officially joining the league. And then SEC Media Days this year will be featured in Dallas, so it'll be a little closer to home of the new participants, as the SEC Media will be crashing into Dallas for the first time. I doubt we make it from the Jordy Culotta show, but I'd imagine it'll be a huge contingency, especially with everything that's going on right now in college sports. So we have some of those same bites.
I tried to find some. I got some from ESPN, but they're littered with ads that ESPN runs, so I couldn't really find any to cut up.
But Sankey, very he's speaking a lot this week as he was talking with Paul Feinbaum, but Woodward was there and he was talking about making some of these new hires that he's brought in, like, over the last couple of years, Kim Mulkey, Jay Johnson, Brian Kelly, Matt McMahon, even mentions kind of like Jay Clark, moving him into the gymnastics role, which just paid off with a first ever national championship in that program's history. But Woodward was talking with Feinbaum and said two things, and I'm quoting here, two things that are really important to me, Paul, and they're obvious. One of them is their past record. Kim has won, talking about Kim Mulkey, has been a winner everywhere she's been, whether it's valedictorian of her high school class or winning at junior high in Little League softball with the boys, or even through college as an Olympian. Everything she's done, she's won. Brian Kelly, same thing. Won at Grand Valley State, won at Cincinnati, won at Notre Dame. It's hard to screw that up. The second thing that's really important to me, I try to hire guys that are a lot smarter than me, really high IQs. Kim is smart as hell. BK smart as hell. Jay Johnson, they have said, I kind of think that when you have that formula, that you just feel it. That's just how I've always done it, and I kind of focus on it in a big way. Obviously, that's paid off for Scott Woodward. He was speaking yesterday publicly about bringing some of these coaches to Baton Rouge, and kind of giving you some insight on what he looks for there. And I think it's a very humble response, in the sense of you rarely hear someone, even if they are in that position and looking for that pedigree, you rarely hear him admit it publicly. And Woodward has always held that stance of, very humble approach, guard, kind of laid down as you talk to him, and very fierce behind closed doors. But, you can tell that his approach is he's going after the best. I mean, he is a big whale hunter, right? I mean, he's a big game hunter. As far as looking for his program leaders, whoever they may be. And it doesn't have to have, a certain amount of experience. He's just looking for the right amount of experience. You're talking about a pedigree that is proven to win, and bringing that crew in, which he has brought. And even, he talks a little bit about Matt McMahon in there. And I mentioned he talks about Jay Clark, who's now the head coach at gymnastics. Obviously Mulkey, Johnson, and the national champions, and even Brian Kelly with a Heisman Trophy winner and the success of 2 10-win seasons in the first 2 years on the job. Just the return on those investments have been phenomenal. And for Scott Woodward, I think he understands, for all of it to work out, while parts of it have worked out, women's college basketball and baseball, which is, really big around LSU, football is the one that has to cross the goal line and hoist the trophy for it to really all make sense. And for LSU, Brian Kelly, Scott Woodward heading into this season, when expansion is heading to the league, but expansion also heading to the playoff formula, now is the time where LSU is really it's time to firmly plant their feet into the next decade of college football's elite with the new formula that's in place, right? I mean, with the new expanded college football playoff and expansion to that on the horizon coming as well. LSU's got to be a playoff contender and a national championship contender. And these are the days, these are the times that we're really going to look back on, that if LSU truly does make that jump in the new age of college football, a lot of the moves that they made this offseason, Bo Davis, Corey Raymond, Blake Baker, these are the moves that we'll figure out, we'll realize if they were able to work out. So it's definitely, you can feel at this SEC spring meeting from a lot of the quotes that are coming out, whether it's Scott Woodward, whether it's Greg Sankey, whether it's some of the head coaches. You heard from some of even the new athletic directors, Krista Conte and Joe Caglione from Texas and Oklahoma, respectively, at SEC spring meetings in Destin. And you can feel like it's just, there's a lot of change. There's a lot of uncertainty still out there. And there's a lot of instability. I mean, the word that I would take away, the feel that I would take away in watching a lot of the media that was coming out from Destin this week is just, there's still a lot of, I don't know, we're still waiting to find out. And, I think that for those power players, the Texas, the LSU, the Oklahomas, the A&Ms, the Georgias, the Alabamas, I'd imagine, it's not freak out, but you're definitely like, man, this is
uncharted territory.
It's a weird time.
It is.
It's just a weird time.
And you talk about like Greg Sankey and the way that, like, to make it no mistake that the college football playoff and the expansion of the SEC kind of happened in like lockstep with each other. That's how it feels like Greg Sankey is, where he's able to kind of move mountains in that regard. For whatever step the SEC takes, it feels like even college football might be a step behind in following them in that direction, down that path. Like if you're going to put Oklahoma and Texas in the SEC, we might have to expand this thing a little bit. Like I know that it's all driven by the dollar, as you saw with even the USC LSU game, where the optics are bad for the Big Ten to be playing on the SEC or on ESPN, which has the SEC contract, like the money, and where it now upsets other power players in the terms of where money's coming for college football. Like that's stuff that you never really saw play out publicly, and now it is, because the key has kind of been put into the lock and you throw away the key. Like you opened up Pandora's box with what college football is now becoming essentially a business now for everyone. And so now all of this plays out publicly, where it used to kind of hide the money, don't really say numbers around amateurism. And now it's seeing how much money we talked about this yesterday, have $20 billion they can have access to if they need it in a war chest. Like, oh, we got your $2 billion for, what do we have to pay? Oh,
20, yeah.
Yeah. 20 million to each team.
20 million.
Good, we got it. It's like, oh, good to know.
Right.
Thought we couldn't pay players. We can't. Neither can y'all, but now you can. But don't touch our money unless you need it, because the court's coming.
Yeah, it's just
and that hasn't gone well for us.
It's just a strange time.